This meeting is being recorded.
All right, so welcome to the part 2 of this workshop about regaining your energy to grow your business. So I'm super pumped and excited about this. We're all here together because I've decided to design this workshop for you, for self-employed women who want to build and grow their businesses, but that are struggling to put themselves first and to are experiencing feeling a bit tired, stressed out, or maybe even burnout, as we've all shared already during part 1. So this is made to be a self-exploration that is interactive, that we're doing as a group together because it's just more fun, and I believe in the power of the community and learning from one another. So this is why I decided to do this as a group. So my promise to you is to share with you my knowledge so that you can understand better how your body and your mind works, so that you can tap into that knowledge and that inner wisdom of yours, of your body, for you to know how to feel better. And for those who are watching maybe the replay and who don't know me, I'm Inez, and I'm an intuitive and plant-based eating coach, and I've helped over 100 self-employed women to tap into that knowledge of intuitive eating, plant-based eating, even a little bit of Ayurveda, to know and to be able to rely on your body instead of external factors, to know when to rest, when to eat, what to eat, how to move your body so that you can feel your most energized and happiest self to grow and pursue all of your dreams and goals. So during part 1, we have covered the first part of the journey, which is always starting with awareness, right? So we took stock about where you are currently within, how you currently behave within your business, right? Talking about being our own boss and what type of boss we are for ourselves, about taking stock about our current health foundations and how we meet or don't meet our basic needs, and about having that mindset of being a curious explorer, to start putting ourselves first and putting us, the me part in the business strategy, in the center, in making sure that it supports the rest of the business strategy. So I see Chantal coming in, so I'll just add her to the room. All right. Hey, Chantal. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. So we just started. You didn't miss anything. So if you're watching this replay and you haven't seen part 1, I highly recommend to stop this here and go watch part 1, because it all is created in making sense one after the other. So today we are going to be diving into behavioral science, aka how to create healthy habits, so that you understand physiologically, also mentally, how you are and how we are all wired, so we can create a game plan that works for us and not against us, right? So once we have that knowledge, we can take better and more appropriate action steps to creating the change that we want to have in our life, and especially in our health and well-being. So we finished off last workshop with identifying our burnout factors. So I'm curious to know if some of you have done the journaling. I know I left you literally 30 seconds during the call. So if you've been able to further inquire during the weekend, feel free to share it with us. Of course, nobody has to share. It's totally optional, but I believe that the more we share, the more we can learn and support one another as well. So feel free to just raise your hand if you want to share. If you feel like it's more comfortable for you to pop in the chat, you can just pop in what are the burnout factors, the ones that are pulling out the water from your cup. If you could see maybe drilling little holes in your cup that every time you're trying to fill, it's just comes out. So does anybody wants to share? Yeah, Brie. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, an ongoing burnout factor is trying to figure out how to say this. Basically, really steep learning curves. So I'm going on 4 years with my business. And at the beginning, it was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. This is going to be awesome. And then you learn, right? But it takes so much energy to learn things that you don't know. And when every single day I'm showing up and going, I have no idea how to do this, ongoing every single day, year on year and year, it's really wearing on me. And so when I have a to-do list of things that I know how to do, I smash them out like a champ. But as soon as there's an element in that list that is important, or even urgent, but that's really scary because I don't know how to do it and I don't know who to ask, and even when I try to like chop it up in little bits, it's really overwhelming and confusing. I find that that's a real ongoing burnout factor for me. It just like sends me right back to zero. So that was something that came up for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And were you like consciously aware of it before, or is that like with the journaling you were able to explore a bit more? Okay, thanks. That's great. And I'm sure that I can totally relate with that. Does anybody else relate with this burnout factor? Just like raise your hand. Yes. Okay. Most of us. Anybody else would like to share another burnout factor that you have been able to identify for yourself? Yes, Silika?
Just sort of backing on to what Bree was saying, I think it's similar sort of thing as like actually seeing other people and their business and just seeing where they're progressing to and going, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing like that kind of thing. I find is also wearing, as well as like the learning new stuff. You're also looking at other people going, oh my God, they're hitting all these milestones, and all other people coming to you going, oh, you're doing this in your business. I was like, well, actually, I'm just like sitting in the corner a mess at the most, like a lot of the time, or like it doesn't actually feel like you're doing enough stuff, and that kind of stuff is draining.
Yeah.
But similar, like if I know what I'm doing and I'm on it and I've got all this stuff to do and I'm capable of doing it, I'm like, yep, and actually does fill my cup, because I'm like, yes, I'm energized to do that. But anything that's sort of like, and then you get on like even Instagram or something, you're seeing anyone, they're like, oh, I just got 10,000 subscribers or whatever, and you're like, shit, okay. So that sort of comparison stuff, which you can't help but do with businesses, because you do have to look at how other businesses are running. I think that's draining.
Yeah, for sure. Can anybody else relate with that as well? Yes. Yes, totally. And we can't compare, like help but compare ourselves. This is part of like who we are also as human beings, but we can proactively like change the way we do that comparison and like turn it in something that is more inspiring than draining, right? So we can touch on that later on. But yes, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. So some recurring themes, right, coming on, and like for example, like what I wrote down was like also putting too much on our plate, right? That resonates with both what you said, Brie and Silika, is like the expectation of like you're doing something but you feel like you need to do more, or like doing more than what we can chew, like try to what is the expression? Brie, the English checking, thank you.
Biting off more than we can chew.
Yes. Biting off more than we can chew, and that leads to like wanting to work more, which leads to burnout, because we're not made to be working 24/7 and to do so many things at once. So my mission here is really to make you feel good, so that you can come from a place of expansion and feeling rested, to grow your biz and do that from a place of joy and excitement, right? And not from depletion and feeling like you're trapped like in a hamster wheel and just like going all the time like this, full speed without necessarily getting the result that you want and staying in the same place. So a lot of people have like this approach of like thinking, but like I need my business to be a certain point and to be able to live my best life or to be able to live off of it. So I'm just going to put all of my energy and time and money into my business, because that seems logical, right? You want to increase something, you're going to put more, you're prioritizing it, and you're going to eventually grow it. But the thing is that we need to think backward, because like, again, when we talked about the car and the trailer here, right? If we put all the energy into this, it's just going to grow bigger. But then if you don't grow your skills like bigger on how you can take care of yourself, it's not going to lead anywhere. Like, this is going to be too heavy to be able to track and move forward. It's just going to stay in place. So when we look at like very successful people that we probably all like try to compare ourselves with, it's important also to not just look at their result, but like at their way of being, right? And the way they take care of themselves. And I'm sure that if you look at like Tony Robbins or like Oprah Winfrey, like they all have a very strong routine, a self-care routine where they're prioritizing themselves and their health, not on a weekly basis, but like on a daily, maybe even like throughout the day several times, because they have also so many things and commitment and things that they need to do, that if they don't do that, they're going to burn out. And I'm sure that they have burnout and they have learned from these experiences and have decided to put more attention, work, and money and time into their well-being. So again, we all here start a business for living a life of passion and of service and being of service to others, not to go into burnout. Like, that's not the, and nobody said that intention. But the thing is that no one taught us the skills and gave us the tools on how to create a business without running into burnout. Like, nobody's talking about this, and everybody's like giving you the business strategy and like do this and that, but like they're never taking you into consideration. And a lot of the things and advice on like in like business coaching and stuff like that is usually very like, okay, one size fits all. Like, look, it worked for 100 people, so it's going to work for you as well. But that's not how we work. And so the thing is that we all have like tools right now to overcome like stressful moments and like burnout or whatever, like not so good sensation and feelings in our body. But the thing is that those tools, they're not all created equal. Some tools are gonna be able to like be like a little band-aid, like a quick fix, and some are going to really heal the wound and like make sure that it's not going to happen and bleed again and again, right? So some are going to be quick and some are going to be medium to short-term fixes, medium to long-term fixes. So of course, ideally, we want to go towards medium and long-term ones. But let's look right now at your current toolbox and how you cope with stress and how you cope with low energy or low mood. Like, what are some of the tools that you currently have? So take your journal and just start writing down, like, when if you don't have any idea, just look at like what is your current behavior, like what do you do usually when you feel stress. That can be like anything. Maybe you eat, maybe something that brings you some peace and some happiness in that moment. For me, that was one of my biggest tool, and that led me to do what I do today. Is it maybe procrastination or avoidance, right? Like, also another tool of mine that I used to tap into a lot was like watching Netflix for hours and hours and hours. But all like, so these are tools. We're not going to be judgy here. We're like curious explorers. So it's not about feeling bad about the tools that we have. It's about acknowledging that these are tools that have been supporting you up until now. And then taking stock of them and see how we can improve from there. again, here I'm gonna, for the purpose of like the workshop and making sure that I respect your time and respect the 1 hour, all of these prompts, I invite you to keep like exploring a little bit deeper. After the workshop as well, you'll get the replay, well, and you don't have to watch it again because you're here, for those who are here, but I'll add also all the prompts written on the website, on the page, so note that you can click the link and you have access to all the prompts to continue journaling about it. So does anybody want to share what are some of the tools that she has to cope with those stressful moments, especially when the stress comes from business, which is unavoidable, right? No judgment here.
I think I have all the typical ones that some of you mentioned as well, like procrastination and of course social media, endless scrolling. I have one that is about not going to sleep at night when it's actually probably the best time to go for a sleep. I'm guessing that's sort of like try not to be alone with my thoughts and just get more distraction happening. Then I have one thing that is, maybe I initially thought that it's a good thing. Like sometimes I feel like I need to learn more. So I go down this rabbit hole of just more research, more learning, because maybe I'm not enough. And then, yeah, some of the better strategies is like I go for a run. Lucky to live like by the creek here and just like literally step out and start running along the creek. So it just sometimes my body is like, okay, you need to just run, and that's probably a better one. Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. And yeah, it's good to acknowledge, right? Like to see, okay, you have tools for like short-term fixes, and then maybe the running, maybe you can feel the difference in your body after it. Like this is going to give you like a boost that is going to be longer than, and it's more effective than maybe the procrastination, right? Chantal shared that she does the same, feeling like I need a PhD in everything. Yes. Yeah, totally relate with that as well. So, right, like just being aware again, right? Noticing, explore, and then act. Like noticing is the first part, to just acknowledge that we have those tools at our disposal. And like, I like to think, for example, of procrastination or even food, right? If we have a toolbox with plenty of tools inside, it would be equivalent to a tape. Like tape, everybody knows how to use it, right? Everybody knows how to watch Netflix or like scroll or eat food. It's like easily accessible. We can tap into it at any moment. Like we don't need to be in a certain state, like in a certain place. We can tap into all these things whenever we want. It's always available to us. And it's going to give us a quick sense of relief, right? And so the tape is helpful, but like if you have a pipe that is bursting in your house, like would you want to tape it like for the rest of eternity, or are you going to call someone with the right tools to like and the knowledge to fix it, right? Probably everyone here is going to be like, yeah, like I can fix temporarily, but then I'm going to tackle the problem at hand and like I'm going to fix it for having like a long-term solution. And so we need to start looking at our toolbox, and in a way that we want to start adding more of these tools that are going to help us manage the stress that is pretty much unavoidable in regular life. But as we've seen in part one, in entrepreneurship, it's just like asking for it. Like we're asking for more stress because it's just like juggling again with the 15 pen. You remember me with that? So, so the matter is not about avoiding stress because it's going to happen. It's part of life. We need to just acknowledge and be at peace with that. It's about getting the tools so that you can rebound faster and not be like down for so long, so that you can like, I like to see like visualize it as a spiral that goes up, and right, whenever you go up, there is also a part that goes down a little bit, but it's like reducing the time when you're in that downward time of the spiral, so that you can go back up more quicker. And that's what's going to support you and your business, because the quicker you get back up, the better you feel, and the more you're going to be able to accomplish, and the more creative you're going to be, etc. So like, for example, if I ask you right now to grow a business without any strategy, right? Like, or invest in Facebook ads without knowing jack shit about Facebook ads, like, would you do it? Like, maybe yes, maybe no, but like, in probably, like, for me, Facebook ads, I was like, no, I don't want to invest money and start pouring money into something that I don't even know how to do. But the thing is that that's what we're doing all the time when we're going through life, and especially managing a business, and not knowing how to manage yourself and our well-being is like, is doing the same with the car. It's like not knowing how to run your body or run that car with the proper knowledge to and get those tools and create them for ourselves, so that we can rebound faster. And it's like we can take that feeling, that the feeling good in our body for granted. We think that it's like something that's just supposed to be like, we're all supposed to be like expensive and like beautiful, happy beings at all time. But the reality it's not. It takes work, and it takes dedication to do that. And we need to nurture this as well. And it's not your fault if you don't know how to do this. Like, most of us, we were not taught on how, like, those basic like life skills, right? It's just like, oh, we take it for granted. Everybody knows how to shove food into their mouth. So like, then we assume that everybody knows how to eat, right? But it goes way beyond that. Same for like exercise, or for resting, or for coping with certain emotion. Until we get and learn those skills purposely, then only we can have those tools to go through life in a way that is more peaceful and enjoyable, and where we feel more energized and happier overall. So when we feel stuck, maybe like you're feeling at the moment with like that feeling of those negative feelings and not feeling so well in your body, it's just because you're lacking the awareness and the knowledge that to then be able to take different action, right? And we stay looped into our own patterns. So now to get into behavioral science, like, this is going to be the juicy bit. This is what I'm so freaking passionate about. And once I started being curious about that and learned so much about it, that I was like, why is like nobody knowing this? Like, this is like, they don't tell you about this in a lot of like spaces, especially not when it comes to like the diet industry. Like, they don't want you to know that, on how to change your own behavior, because they're making more money out of you being stuck in that same cycle. So I want you to start looking at this as like a target. So when we have a target, we have different layers, right? Like, so I want you to look at the outer layer as like the outcome, right? This is a goal. Like, we all know that if we want to create any change in life, we need to start with a vision, a goal, and like we've set that in part 1. Then we need to, if you go a little bit in the middle, there'll be the processes, right? Like, that's the strategy, right? Having the tools, the strategy to get from point A to point B, to where you are, to where you want to go, to that outcome. And then there is the deepest layer, that is the nucleus in the middle. And the reason why a lot of people don't get the result that they want is because they don't tap into that core level that is actually your identity. Because the thing is that if you don't believe in yourself, like, I like the quote from Henry Ford, you probably have heard it all already. I like, what you believe you can or you cannot do, you are right. Right? So if, for example, tomorrow I'm telling you, like, your goal is to, in business, for example, to get 1,000 new followers, right? I'm telling you, let's assume I'm a business strategist. I am not, so please, like, don't take my advice. And my strategy for you, my process for you is you need to post 3 times per day for 6 months. What is like your initial reaction? Will you do it? Like, yeah, I'm saying like no from Silicon. And the reason is because you have created like a belief system around what you are capable of from your past experiences, right? You're probably already telling yourself, like, I'm already struggling to like share 3 posts a week. How am I going to do that 3 times a day, every single day for 6 months? That's too overwhelming, right? So the thing is that we don't see things as they are. We actually see things as we are. And that's, I want you to let that thing sink into you. We really see the world through tinted glasses. Like if like the tinted glasses, choose whatever color you like, you can put rainbows on it, whatever it is, but like this is the filter that you put in front of your eyes that you're going to look at through. You're going to look through it when you look at anything that is happening in your life. And that's why looking at your identity and your belief level is one of the most crucial pieces that is often missing, because if you don't believe you can achieve or do achieve or deserve, or you don't believe that you deserve to achieve a certain goal, you are going to self-sabotage, right? Like, and like it's going to be stronger than you, like whether you want it or not, you are going to self-sabotage at some point. And for me, I like to represent the belief like a table. So the tabletop is the belief, and then you have I think Chantal had to go. And so the legs of the tables, these are each experiences that you have had in your life that are supporting that belief. And sometimes don't see a table with just 4 legs, right? We have many experiences in our life who are supporting. Sometimes our table, like our belief is so strong, it has like 100 legs. And so it's going to be hard to shake it off, right? We're going to have to like freaking like shake those legs one by one in order to change them. And we're going to tap into that. And the thing is that also the brain is so amazing because it has a system that is called the reticular activating system. So that's like a bundle of nerves that you have in the brainstem that actually filters out unnecessary information. So that means that it's going to keep only what's important to get through to the conscious mind, and it's going to leave out all the rest, right? If I'm sure you've already notice when you learn a new word and then you start hearing it everywhere, or like you set an intention of like seeing a butterfly and then you see butterflies everywhere. Like this is how the brain works. Like it's the reticular activating system. So that means that also when you believe something, you're going to scan life through your tinted glasses, and you're going to only see the things that are supporting that belief as well. And you're actually going to discard the ones that are not supporting your belief. Even though they are there, you're not going to see them. Like you're going to see them, but like they're not going to go through to your conscious mind. So in part 1, we looked at your current belief about yourself. It was like actually the first question when it comes to taking care of yourself and making sure to meet your basic needs. Like you can check again if you want to just connect to that again. Maybe you have some belief around like it's difficult for me to take care of myself. I don't have the time. That's also a belief, right? So all these things this is like your current identity. And so in order for us to change, to create sustainable change, we need to look at that deep layer, like of the target and that identity first. And we're going to work through it through 3 different steps. So the first step is to decide on the person that you want to be, right? So you have the identity that you have now, that's point A, and then now point B is like the person that you want to be. So it's very important for you to get crystal clear on that. So I want you to get out your journal again and to start writing what does that person, you can even give her an alter ego name. Like for me, I have it up on my wall right here. Like it's all there. Ines Shubi Goggins. I don't know if you know that Goggins is like a crazy guy. He's like insane. So that's me. That's my alter ego. Like my best self is like Ines Shubi Goggins, because it embodies like get shit done, like go after your goals and like be the best person that you can be, even though I don't agree with his way of doing sometimes just too extreme. So but just whatever that works for you, the name that you want to have, if it's yes, someone did mention something, or I heard some noise. Oh no. Okay. So just choose a name, whatever that is. If you can't find anyone right now, that's okay. But ask yourself, what does she believe like about herself and about taking care of herself, and within the context of like running a business as well. And how does she feel? How does she talk? Like, what is the internal self-talk, right? Does she beat herself up when she's not attaining a certain goal, or is she saying like, oh, it's okay? And how does she act? Like, what does she do to take care of herself? Like, is she having a specific morning routine? Is she doing certain things? Is she investing in her health? Like, whatever it is. So I'll give you just a few minutes to go into this, but know that this is one of the homework I'm going to give you, because this is, out of all the things that I'm going to ask you to journal about today, this is going to be the one thing I want you to really develop in more depth and put the most intention. Like, if there was one thing I want you to do, is like this one. And this is actually the first thing that we do in my program Nourishing Circle. Like, during the first week, I don't even get you into action or anything yet. I ask you to work on that identity and be crystal clear with it, and be playful with it. So maybe that's like drawing it. You can make collage out of it. Whatever you can use, modality you can use to like embody that and portrait new identity of yourself, your ideal, your best boss, the best boss that you can be for yourself. Then use it. All right, I'll shut up now. All right, so I'm sure, like, I see you all very much like in the journaling still, but I'm sorry, I want to give you like so much more than this, so I will need to continue. But I invite you really to take some time, even if it's just like 15 minutes. Literally, I think in 15 minutes, you can have a very good vision of the person that you want to become. And I will have all the prompts with like the different aspects that you can think about in the replay. So that's step number one. Step number two is to have a regular reinforcement of your this new identity, right? Daily is going to be ideal because that's you're going to fast track your progress into creating the new identity, but I don't want to put the pressure. I'm just telling you, like, the more, the quicker. And if you can't make it like daily, that's totally fine. Like, just find a rhythm that works for you. So why a reinforcement of that identity? The way we're going to do this is, like, there are different modalities, right? Again, like, some people prefer visual, some people prefer auditive, some people prefer like olfactive, I think it's and so just picking what works best for you in general, right? Like, for me, I'm very visual, so I have like my vision board literally behind my computer. I have these on my wall. Like, I like to draw, or like having like nice images, so that's appealing to me, and that's going to make me want to connect with it. So choosing what modality works for you. You could have like mantra, you could have a music that you play on a regular basis to start your day, whatever that can help you embody and have a reinforcement of that identity, like a reminder of that. So for example, in Nourishing Circle, like, just the fact of like being in the community, they don't even have to like create so much reminders, because they have it literally on their phone, and they have like a chat, and like by seeing each other, they're already reminded of the person that they want to become. So choosing one modality and like experimenting with it. And if it doesn't work, and if you see that's not really like working for you, then you can always change it. It's not set in stone. You're free to like adapt it. So that would be step 2. And then step 3 is to prove it to yourself with small, capital letter on small, highlighted, yellow, like wins. So, right, like here we're talking about the identity, but actually you realize that the identity is linked to the middle, that is the process, right? The process is part of creating that new identity, because as we all know it, like, our brain loves immediate gratification. Like, we are wired for it. Like, we are wired as human beings to seek pleasure, instant pleasure, and also avoid pain. And so we want that quick hit of dopamine. That's why, like, you know, they design it like the apps with the red dots, because that makes us like want to like check in and like have it removed. Like, that's like, oh, quick gratification. And so we need to work with our physiology and make it work for us and not against us. So the thing is that a lot of us, we are led to believe that we need to do like a 180, especially when it comes to health. Like, when you look at the dieting industry, they make you think like, look, you can you can lose like X amount of weight in only 4 weeks. And just by continuously portraying this type of messaging, that has helped creating a belief in our subconscious that, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. But like, they're not showing you the behind the scene. Actually, more than 80% of people who are going on a diet, they put on the weight back up and even more. Like, you can even look at like the TV show, like The Biggest Loser in America, and you can look at the people who actually have kept the weight off and the people who haven't. So it's just like the behind the scene that they don't want you to know, because they want you to live in that fantasy of believing that this is possible for you. But that actually like is creating a dissonance with the reality and the way it works. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make it like very glamorous when I tell you like it's not about taking drastic action that is gonna change your circumstances drastically. It's more about taking small steps. And you're like, yeah, small step, but like, what does it change? Like, meditating for 30 seconds tomorrow, how is that even going to change my life? But we started all the day today, the call, with taking a deep breath, right? And we just took 2 deep breaths, and you could notice already that difference in your body by just taking those few seconds out, right? And the thing is that if I ask you, for example, to go from 0 to 180 degrees, like tomorrow, I ask you to do 1 hour of yoga, meditate for 30 minutes, eat 100% plant-based, no refined sugar, to sleep 9 hours. How do you feel right now if I tell you to do this? Like, send an emoji reaction to like how you feel if I was literally serious and asking you to do that tomorrow. Yes. Okay. So this is like the face of like overwhelm, like what the fuck? Yes, I'm already tired just thinking about it. Like when we look at the past and when we set like drastic health changes in our life, did it ever work for you? Like, were you able to like sustain that change for a long period of time up until now, actually? Probably not, right? For me, 10 years of my life went into like all sorts of diets. And it was actually when I realized that I thought I was doing things differently, right? A different diet, a different process. So I should have maybe the outcome that I want. But I realized that the process was the same. The process was restriction, was like too much of a change. It was then strong cravings, and then battling in my mind, do I do it? Do I not eat it? And then eating it, feeling like shit, physically feeling guilty and shame. And then being like, fuck it, I'll just go back to the way I was eating before and just not think about it. And then 2 weeks later, trying again. So actually, this is like the definition of insanity. And when I came across it, I was like, yeah, I'm doing the same and I'm expecting different results all the time. So the thing is that setting those unrealistic health intentions or habits for yourself, it's actually costing you more than you're gaining from it, because you're reinforcing a pattern of failure, of like wanting to try, like, and then not meeting your expectation. Then it's like you fail yourself, and then you are tired and then hopeless. And then at some point you're going to be tired of trying ever again. And I don't want you to ever get there. And so how we do that is to actually set, and how we change that is by setting to getting those small wins, by setting like achievable goals for ourselves. And I don't know if any of you have read like Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's yeah. So he shares in his book that when you increase yourself and like improve yourself by just 1% every single day over 365 days for a year, you actually end up 37 times better, right? Like this is huge. Like if you're 37 times better than what you are, just by breathing in, like whenever you feel stressed, like by just like going 5 minutes earlier to bed, by just eating one meal that you know is going to be nourishing. Another example is that if you take a plane that is starting from Los Angeles and you just change the degree of its trajectory by just 3.5%, and when it wants to go to New York, it's actually landing in Washington, D.C. See how much, like just a tiny degree, but taken consistently, is going to take you to a different destination. So we need to stop underestimating small action and putting more weight into consistency over the size of the action that we need to take. So like, how do you send me another emoji? Like whenever you achieve a goal, how do you feel? Send me an emoji reaction as to what is what is that creating for you in your body. Yes, you can tune into it even in your body right now. Yes, the celebration, right? We feel good. We have this dopamine boost. We're proud, and we are motivated to keep going. And when we do that, we cast a vote for that new identity that we just defined, that we are reinforcing and connecting with on a regular basis, and we're casting that vote. And every time you're going to vote, after a certain point of like putting all these votes, you are going to start truly believing that you are actually that new person, because you've taken the action, right? So these are the 3 steps for redefining your identity and rewiring it. And then when we look at the process level, just like I said, like in business, we have certain processes. Like we have processes on like how we get new clients, and how like we have a business strategy. We need to have a process on how we achieve our like health and well-being goals as well. And so the process actually that I'm going to share with you, this is a process that you can take for anything, for your health, for your business. It works for any areas of our life. And that is to, for me, like right now, I'm going to talk about like for your well-being. And that is like what I touched on part 1, and is to set achievable and exciting nourishing experiment. I'm sure Karen, you are going to remember that, as Karen was part of Nourishing Circle, and that's how we work within the community. And so when we say achievable, that's what we just talked about, right? Like that was part of the making small a win, having small wins, is because you make sure that you're increasing by so little that it's underwhelming, that you're going to nail it, you're going to achieve it. So then when we look at exciting, this is a big part that sometimes we are missing out. So the brain, again, is driven by like seeking pleasure. And if we are not excited or looking forward to doing an action, sometimes like we shared in business, right? Like there's some stuff that are going to be overwhelming and we don't know how to do it and all this. But like if you can bring a little bit of fun or excitement into it, connect to it, then it's going to be easier for you to take that action. And for me, I think, and that is like one of my core value and that I bring into my business, into Nourishing Circle, and the importance of playfulness, right? We think that we need to be those serious human being going through the world and achieving all these goals, and we are disconnected to our inner child. And sorry, I just need to drink. But we all are like, we're born playful kids, and we are still all playful. Like you, I'm sure that you are playful in some areas of your life currently, and it's just about bringing that playful attitude to your well-being as well. Like have fun with it. And that's really my mission, is to make it easier for you to find the fun and excitement into taking care of yourself. So for example, like, you know, dancing in the kitchen while you're cooking, like putting on some jazz, or like whatever it is, like just having fun with that, or seeing like your plate as a painting and trying to like put like the colors in the beautiful patterns. I don't know, like just being more playful in the way you approach that process, right, of creating those experiments is going to be crucial, right? If I ask you to now make a cake, but it's a cake with like a specific flavor that you don't like, and I ask you to do it with someone you hate, like, is that exciting? No, it's not. But like if I ask you to make that cake with your best friend, and you get to come with me, and we're gonna bake at my place, and I'm gonna like teach you some new skills that you've been wanting to get into your baking attire, and this is going to make it like way more enjoyable, right? Like it's an adventure. We see it as an exploration, and we're having fun with it. So it's so important that we set achievable and exciting. Like this is like every week when in Nourishing Circle, when people get to create their experiments, I always ask them, is it achievable and is it exciting? And if it's not ticking those two boxes, we don't do it. Like we come back to zero and we start again and we redefine it. Because if you're not having those two things in check, you're not going to take the action. You're not going to be driven intrinsically to want to do it. And the thing is that when this happens, when we set the achievable, the exciting experiment, then actually what happened is that we celebrate. Like I've seen all of those like little confetti when you said like, how do you feel when you reach a goal? And that is so important, because what gets rewarded gets repeated, right? I'm with this dog right now in this house that I'm looking after, and sometimes I want him like to like come to a certain place, and I can yell at him however I want. He's not gonna nudge. I've been trying to like pull him with the leash. He's not moving. He's like flattening out and like a pancake, and he's not moving. Like negative like reinforcement is not gonna work for him. It's not working for you either. So it's like when I'm being gentle and I'm making it exciting and achievable for him, I'm putting the treat literally like 30 centimeters ahead of him. It works. It takes a step because it's doable, it's achievable and exciting. And then we celebrate, and I caress him, and we play. And so so it's the same. We need to start also celebrating, because once you celebrate, it's also acknowledging that you have achieved a goal. And the more you do that, it's a snowball effect, right? The snowball just like rolls a little bit and then a little bit, and it continues and it continues. That's how it's going to grow. And that's how you're going to grow your business or grow whatever goals that you want to go towards. And I want to ask you, do you like send me a thumbs up or thumbs down? Like, do you usually celebrate when you reach a goal, whether that's in your business or even in your personal health? Like, do you make a point about it, about like, yes, I've done this, and celebrate in any way that is? You don't have to like celebrate massively. Yes, like this, okay. Middle towards no. Yes, also, right? And so that's also something that I have built like within Nourishing Circle, where every single Friday we celebrate. I don't care like if you have like met your experiment or not, you have something to celebrate that week, that is that in one way you've been taking care of yourself, and that needs to be acknowledged. And we do a little dance party and we make it fun, like, and we take the time to do that on our video calls or in our chats. So it's important that you celebrate, whether that's for yourself but sometimes we need to be accountable, right? Because we need to have that reminder to start creating that new habit. So, and over time, like when you set this experiment, right, we set the new identity, we create and reinforce a new identity. We have the process of doing achievable and exciting experiments. Then through those experiments, that's how we're going to develop our toolbox to like manage and cope with the stress that comes with the entrepreneur life, because our best teacher is always going to be the experience, right? I don't expect you to learn how to swim from just reading a book. Like that would be like, yeah, done. Like, yeah, you can learn the technique, but like up until the time when you get into the water for the first time and you try that technique, only then will you actually learn. So again, it's not about like right now I'm teaching you a lot of things, but like if you don't put them into practice and experiment it and actually do that practice it into your life, you're probably not going to see a change. So I want to finish up on just a little note on perfectionism, right? The pressure of like wanting to do it all perfect and right. And we also tend to believe that especially for health, that if we're not doing everything, we're not checking the meditation, we're not checking the mental health, we're not checking the movement, we're not checking the 8 hours sleep, not checking like eating healthy food three times a day, that we're not doing enough. But that's just simply not true, right? For just finishing this up, I'm going to ask you to stand up to prove to you through an experience again in your body. So if your body allows it, I just want you to start just doing that. We're not going to do it for long, but if that doesn't work for your body, you can just like do it like without jumping, with just one leg, right? Just for like, we're going to do this for 15 seconds. I want you to start putting a smile on your face and say, I can, I will, I must. I can, I will, I must. One more time. I can, I will, I must. Yes. All right. You can sit down again. So this again is to create an experience for you in your body, to acknowledge that we just did this for 15 seconds. How do you feel now? Like how do you energize? Yes. By just 15 seconds of your time. So of course, 15 seconds is not going to fix like all of your problems, but it's adding up those tiny moments of just a few seconds here, a few seconds there. This is going to compound, and that's what's going to create ultimately the change that you want. Oh my God, I'm like, I didn't plan on being so exhausted. When I was preparing the workshop, I didn't actually do it. So I was like, that'd be fine. So know that one meal can energize you, right? You know the power of one meal. You can eat a meal that is very heavy and with food that you know are like not making your like stomach upset, this is affecting you for the rest of the day. Same as for eating something healthy and nourishing, this is gonna take you up and like supporting you and your business. Like same with one night of good sleep, you can feel the difference with one night of bad sleep. You can also feel the difference when you moving your body, whether that's just for 15 seconds, like we just did, or when you go for a run for 10 or 15 minutes or for a walk. So my ask of you now to get you into action, because that's what I always want you to do, like not just learn, but also put into action. I want you at the end of like when we finish this call to set an experiment for yourself. So I want you to make sure that experiment is achievable and exciting. And that experiment needs to happen within now and the next workshop, which is in 2 days. So you have 48 hours. And I want you to do it related to one of the basic needs, right? Either food, rest, or movement. Just pick one of these, maybe the one that you have the most struggle with at the moment. And if it's food, just focus on one meal. If it's rest, just focus on maybe taking 1 minute break during your day. If it's movement, just taking like a 5-minute walk. Like make it so underwhelming, you know you're gonna be able to achieve it, okay? And make it exciting. Like how can you make the food exciting? Can you prepare something that you know you love? Resting, like can you make sure to like do it at a moment where you know you're going to really need it? Or movement, like is there a specific way that you like to move your body that is exciting more than anything? Like putting like a dance workout on YouTube, that maybe is fun. I don't know, like whatever is fun for you. Everybody's different. So I'm going to leave you on that, and to remind you that how we do one thing is how we do everything eventually, right? It starts like the way I approach like Nourishing Circle is that because on focusing on health first and on taking on that explorer mindset, a curious mindset, then that will infiltrate into any areas of your life, in your relationship, but also in your business and in any area. So remember to just stay curious, because we committed first day of being curious, being a curious explorers for this week together. So the next part will be in 2 days, like I said, same time, same Zoom. So on Thursday, and that's when we're gonna like wrap it all together. And I'm gonna share with you what to do when shit hits the fan, like real hard. And we're gonna talk about like how to create that consistency for yourself and how to like rewire your brain for that, you know, negative self-talk, like the failure mindset and all that. So we're going to dive into that. And also on knowing for you, what are the activities that are going to give you the most return on investment? Like what is it that you need, like so that you can create your own game plan. So that's a wrap for today. We covered like how to rewire your identity, how to go about the process and setting exciting and achievable experiments. And I'll see you on Thursday. And don't forget to set your experiments. If you have more time as well to like refine your identity, that's really important. Set the experiment and share it with us in the chat. We all want to know and be inspired by the action that you're going to take. Take a picture when you've done it, share it with us. And if you want to enter the giveaway for winning a spot in Nourishing Circle, you can share as well your biggest takeaway in the chat. Don't worry, I will remind you of all that in the chat. So all good. Now take a deep breath and out. We did it! Part 2 is over! Thank you all so much for coming today, and I'll see you very soon and in the chat.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.